Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the second session of Research in Daily Life. Today, I will be discussing the difference between qualitative research and quantitative research. For our session learning targets, at the end of the session, you are expected to number one, recognize the characteristics of qualitative and quantitative research. Second, differentiate qualitative from quantitative research using a Fryer model. Identify various types of qualitative research. And lastly, accomplish written tasks for this session. Let's have a short recap regarding our session 1 last time. I discussed the nature of inquiry and research. We learned that inquiry and research are the same because they involve the process of questioning. However, they are also different because research involves several stages or steps in conducting. I also discussed the characteristics of research. We have 6 characteristics: accuracy, objectiveness, timeliness, relevance, clarity, and systematic. All of these characteristics our research paper should possess in order to in order for the readers to fully understand the topic that we chose, and in order for them to understand the solutions or recommendations that we have on our research paper. Last time, I also discussed the purposes of research, and I asked you to accomplish a worksheet regarding the purposes of research. And lastly, I also discussed the importance of research in daily life. We found out that from simple questions to more complicated questions, we can use research in order to solve problems, in order to answer those questions. So today, I'll be discussing the distinction between qualitative and quantitative research. It is important that we know the difference between the two so that we will be guided as to how are we going to go about our own research study. Let's start with qualitative research. According to Creswell in 1994, qualitative research is an inquiry process of understanding a social or human problem based on building a complex, holistic picture formed with words, reporting detailed views of informants, and conducted in a natural setting. Now, before I proceed further, I want you to also check the definition of quantitative research. According to Creswell, 1994, a quantitative research is an inquiry into a social or human problem based on testing a theory composed of variables measured with numbers and analyzed with statistical procedures. Now, based on the two definitions, I want you to look at the similarities of the two definitions according to Creswell. Let's start with the similarities of the two definitions. Number one, it is both an inquiry. Okay? Meaning, qualitative and quantitative research involves questioning. They involve asking questions regarding a specific topic that we chose. Another similarity of the two definitions is that it aims to understand a social or a human problem. So again, when we choose a topic, it should be about a social or human problem. Something that we observe in our environment, something that needs solution, something that needs recommendation, something that needs um, suggestions. Okay, so in order to understand that particular topic, okay, now here are the differences between the two definitions. If qualitative and quantitative research are both an inquiry process that aims to understand social or human problem, now the difference lies with how is qualitative research being done and how is quantitative research being done. So let's start with identifying the differences between the two. For qualitative research, it is based on building a complex, holistic picture. So when we say building a complex or holistic picture, qualitative research aims to understand a social or human problem in order to come up with a holistic explanation, a holistic description of the particular topic. So, if I will be conducting a qualitative research, my goal with my respondents is that I want to build a general, holistic picture of the topic that I am researching on. Unlike with quantitative research, quantitative is based on testing a theory. When we say testing a theory, quantitative researchers already have a theory in their minds that they want to prove. They want to prove if their theory is applicable or not. So that's how quantitative research is. You start with the theory and then you test that theory based on the data gathering collection methods that you are using with your respondents. Now, another difference between the two is that qualitative research uses words and detailed views. So, again, our goal for qualitative research is to build a holistic general picture of the topic. Therefore, in order to come up with a complex holistic picture, what we are going to use are words and detailed views of who? Our respondents. So, qualitative research gathers opinions, perspectives, of your respondents. If we need words in qualitative research, therefore, words would refer to the opinions and perspectives and ideas of our respondents. Unlike with quantitative research uses variables and measured with numbers and analyzed with statistical procedures. So here, quantitative research is more on numbers, it's more on figures, it's more on variables and statistics. So if we want to test a theory in quantitative research, we test them by assigning values, assigning numbers, and interpreting those numbers using statistical procedures. So in short, qualitative research uses words to analyze the topic, while quantitative uses numbers and statistics to analyze the topic. Now, let me give to you a more detailed difference between qualitative and quantitative in terms of the following considerations. Number one, nature of reality. Qualitative, when it comes to nature of reality, it is subjective. For quantitative, it's more of objective. So what's the difference between the two? Qualitative, in qualitative research, reality is subjective because you are relying on people's experiences, thoughts, and perspectives. It is subjective because your result will depend on the opinions of your respondents. What they say, what they know about the topic will yield to your result. Therefore, it is subjective. When we say subjective, you are relying on your emotions. You are relying on your opinions, biases. Okay? Unlike with quantitative, quantitative is objective because it involves measurement of data. You are not gathering the opinions of your respondents. Instead, you are measuring their opinions. How do we measure their opinions? We assign numbers for their opinions. For example, if you have seen a questionnaire or survey, the choices in the survey sometimes have 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, right? So surveys assign numbers for the opinions of your respondents. For example, if I want to disagree, the number that I will assign for disagree is 1 or 2, right? Or for example, if I want to agree in the survey, the assigned number for agree is 4 or 5. So we assign numbers to the opinions of our respondents in order to measure the data, in order to compute the data. That is what we call being objective of quantitative research. You're not relying on the opinions of your respondents. Instead, you are relying on the numbers, on the values assigned to the opinions of your respondents. Okay? Next, relationship to the respondents. When it comes to relationship to the respondents, how do qualitative and quantitative research differ? For qualitative, researchers interact with the participants. When we say interact, we talk to the respondents. We connect with the respondents. Qualitative research uses interview. Therefore, when we say interview, there is a direct personal contact between the researchers and the respondents. So they interact with each other. They may ask questions, they may ask follow-up questions, they may give each other's opinions. That is what we call interacting with the respondents or participants. However, with quantitative research, researchers are independent or separate from the respondents. Sorry, this is respondents to avoid bias. So, for quantitative research, the researchers are separate. They don't interact. They don't make personal communication, personal contact with the respondents because what they are using are survey and questionnaires. So, for example, if I am a quantitative research, I will only be giving the survey to the respondents. That's all. And the respondents will be the one to interact with the survey, not me. So in that case, I am separate from the respondents. The only thing that the respondents are interacting to is the survey because that is where my questions are. Unlike with qualitative, I really have to make contact with the respondents because I am interviewing them. Do you see the difference? Qualitative interacts with the respondents because they need to be interviewed. Quantitative does not interact because what the researchers do is only give surveys, and it is the surveys that interact with the respondents. So in that case, researchers are separate from the respondents in a quantitative research. When it comes to role of values, qualitative research is value-laden and biased. When we say value-laden, because we are relying to the opinions and perspectives of the respondents, um, there is a possibility that we can extract values from these opinions, from these perspectives. And it is biased because, again, qualitative is subjective. It relies on the opinions of other people. So therefore, when we rely on other people's opinion, we are being biased already. Okay? So that is what we call bias for qualitative research. Unlike quantitative, it is value-free and unbiased. When we say value-free, there is really no values or life virtues we can get from quantitative because it is about statistics. It is about um, figures and numbers. We cannot quantify generosity in a we cannot we cannot extract generosity or kindness or love in a quantitative research because quantitative is objective. It relies heavily on the measurement of data. We're talking about numbers and statistics. We cannot get values or virtues or morals in this type of research. Therefore, if it's value free, therefore it is unbiased. It is not biased. Because again, quantitative is objective. It's more of numbers and measuring data. Therefore, it is unbiased. Now, language of research. When it comes to language of research, qualitative may be informal. Although, let me clarify that research is a technical writing. Therefore, it should be as technical and formal as possible. Here, what I'm talking about here is the degree of language used by the respondents and the researchers. So for qualitative, it's more of informal. Why? Because in the interview part of qualitative research, not all your respondents have the capability to speak in English. Sometimes they may be speaking in their dialects. Sometimes they may be speaking both in English and Tagalog. So the fact that you are the fact that you are including their answers to your research will make the language of your research informal because your respondents have different language backgrounds. They have different ways of expressing their ideas. So in that way, it becomes informal. Unlike quantitative, it is a little formal since you are talking about numbers. You are talking about statistics. You are not narrating the opinions of your respondents. It is only you that narrates the entire results of your research. So in that case, it becomes more formal, unlike with qualitative research. Now, the last consideration when it comes to the difference between qualitative and quantitative is that the process of research. Okay, we have 3 points in determining the process of research between the two. Number one, qualitative research is inductive, specific to general, while quantitative is deductive process or general to specific. I'm sure you have heard the words inductive versus deductive. So let's start with inductive process for qualitative. When we say inductive, you are using specific ideas in order to come up with general ideas. Remember that qualitative research relies on the opinions of your respondents. Therefore, if I have 10 respondents and these 10 respondents have different opinions, they have different specific opinions from themselves, what do I do with those specific opinions? I gather them all together, I collect them, I analyze them, which opinions are similar, which opinions are different, and which opinions will lead to the general understanding of my topic. So therefore, when you say inductive, I collect specific opinions from the respondents, and then come up with a more general opinion regarding the topic that I chose for my qualitative research. That is what we call inductive. Unlike deductive process, general to specific, when we say deductive, because quantitative involves measurement of data, therefore, I start with a theory, a general idea. I start with a general idea, and then I test that idea or theory in order to come up with specific numbers or specific figures or statistics regarding my topic. So in that case, it becomes deductive. Next, qualitative research is context bound. When we say context bound, it depends on the context of your topic. For example, if I am studying about bullying in Pateros Catholic School, and my results is about bullying in Pateros Catholic School, do you think my research will be applicable to other schools? To, for example, in public schools, do you think it will be possible or it will be applicable? More often than not, it is not applicable. So it's only bound by the context of your topic. It is limited to the context of your topic. If your topic is about technology using Genio in Pateros Catholic School Elementary Department, your research will not be applicable to the elementary department of public schools in Pasig City. So it is context bound. When we say context bound, your research is only limited to the specific context of your topic. Unlike with quantitative research, it is it is context free. When we say context free, wherever you go, it will be applicable. For example, um, the percentage of effectiveness of using surgical masks to protect yourself from COVID-19. So that's context free because wherever you go, the result will also apply. Okay? That is what we call context free. Your research can be applicable in other contexts. Next, qualitative research rely on verification in order to achieve accuracy and reliability. So, for qualitative research, what we do in order to achieve accuracy and reliability is to verify the results. For example, if I want to verify the results of my research, I will just go back to the opinions of my respondents because that's where my results come from, the opinions of my respondents. So if I want to verify my results, I will just compare the opinions of the respondents to my results, and that's it. It's already accurate and reliable. Unlike with quantitative, how do we achieve accuracy and reliability? By validity and reliability of the instrument that I use. For example, the questionnaire or the survey. Does my survey measure my research topic? Does my survey actually cover all the necessary data that I need for my topic? So in that case, I am achieving accuracy and reliability by having a valid and reliable questionnaire. Okay, so we move on to the philosophical perspectives of qualitative and quantitative research. We have two philosophical perspectives, positivism and interpretivism. Okay? Positivist methods include laboratory experiments and survey research and usually aims to test a hypothesis. However, interpretive methods such as action research and ethnography are aimed at theory building. So which one of the two is more applicable to qualitative and which one of the two is applicable to quantitative? Positivist is for quantitative because it aims to test a hypothesis or theory. Interpretive is more for qualitative because it aims at building a theory. Remember, let me clarify that. Theory building and testing a theory are two different things. When we say testing a theory, you already have a theory in your mind. You're just going to test if your theory is true or not. When we say theory building, you're going to build a theory based on the data that you got from your respondents. So in that case, testing a theory is more of quantitative research, and theory building is more of qualitative research. Positivist methods employ a deductive approach, while interpretive methods use inductive approach. So here, we already learned a while ago, deductive is more on quantitative. Inductive is more on qualitative. So positivist is more on quantitative, interpretive is more on qualitative. Positivist methods use predominantly quantitative data but can also use qualitative data. Interpretive methods rely heavily on qualitative data but can also benefit from including quantitative data as well. So again, positivist is more on quantitative, interpretive is more on qualitative. Okay, but still they can benefit from other data as well. Now, for your written work, I want you to read and study the following articles that I attached in Genio. The articles are about qualitative and quantitative research. And then I want you to complete the Freyer model in the next slide. So this is the Freyer model. I also attached this in your Genio, in the Genio package. And then I want you to submit this to my Gmail. Okay? Okay, so that is our worksheet number 2. I want you to submit them in a PDF format to this email. And then I want you to put in the subject of your email worksheet 2 underscore RID.